Well, welcome to everyone who is here for the Home Family Faith Formation meeting. We'll be discussing home family faith formation at 6:30 here, and immediately following will be the meeting for the First Reconciliation families. So if you're here for either one, you're welcome to stay. Just the topic will change over at 7 o'clock. My name is Jean Mooney, and I'm the Faith Formation Director here at St. Joseph's Church and for Church of the Holy Spirit. I'm going to be speaking about our home family program tonight, and I'll talk about how faith formation is nurtured in the home and the relevance of faith to our lives today. Also, the importance of the adults closest to children and how they influence the children, and how you can exercise your faith in your daily life. And then we'll speak directly to the textbook and the activities that we have scheduled for tonight. So as you see up on your screen there are a group of people nurturing a small plant, just in the same way that parents nurture the faith of their children in the home. The idea is to help them to grow their faith until they can support it on their own and actually learn from the fruits of their faith. They can benefit from the faith that they've developed, a personal relationship with God. And children learn this through the things that you do and say in your daily life at home together. And that's what we're going to be emphasizing in the home family program this year. Right now, a lot of us can use our faith. We're definitely dealing with stress that we have not dealt with before. The pandemic has caused many of us to work from home or lose work. We're worried about the health of our families. And in addition, we're having to, in many cases, be our parents, our children's educators. For our children, we can remind them to look for the helpers and help them deal with their stress. Mr. Rogers is a great example of what you can say to kids if they're worried about their health or their school or their families. For parents, we also could use some reassuring because our kids don't always appreciate us as teachers. So part of what we want to do with faith formation is make the things that you learn this year be very relevant to your lives, so that they interact with the things that you would typically be doing. And many of the activities will be geared toward that. And of course, we know that we're under a lot of stress. So please be in touch if you have any problems with any of the activities or any of the textbooks. So as parents, you know that you're the role models for your kids in a lot of different ways. And at church, we believe that parents are basically in charge of their child's faith formation. The family is also called the domestic church, the church at home, because kids learn from example and they learn by doing. So they will learn by what you do together as a family. And parents are the first and the most important teachers of the faith for their children. Children look to you to determine what's important in their lives. If they see you praying or see you helping another person, then they know that that's an important thing to you, and it also will become important to them. Pope Francis has said that parents as role models are more powerful than any catechism class or sermon. So we do our best to support you in that role, but really what you do is the most important and has the greatest effect on your child's faith. So with family prayer, we might be tempted to think we have to do long, complicated prayers, but it's really okay to keep it very simple. So the activities that are in your textbook and the ones that we'll give you in the weekly email will be pretty basic, and you can feel free to expand or do something a little more involved. But we're going to keep it pretty basic. You can do traditional Catholic prayers. keeping it simple and even a spontaneous prayer. For example, when you're doing a goodnight prayer with your children, you can have them repeat after you. You can say, God bless grandma. They can repeat, God bless grandma, God bless grandpa, and make it into a daily ritual that your kids really enjoy. One of the first activities that we'll have you do this year is to create a sacred space or a family altar in your home. And that's something that the kids really will enjoy. They can look around the house for things that they can pray with, things that remind them of God. Sometimes it's a family photo, sometimes it's a little plush friend, but have them make it very personal, and you'll be getting specific like a little video and some instructions on how to do this, but it's something that you can really have fun with. And one of the assignments this year will be to take a picture of the activities that you do and send them in to us. If you're comfortable including your children, please do so. But if you'd rather keep them out of the picture, then just a photo of your activity would be wonderful to share with us. Another activity that we include in the faith formation is helping others. It's something that kids can really relate to, and it's also an important Catholic teaching. We engage with ministries of the parish, such as Fill Up the Van, where we fill up the van with food every month for people in our community who need food. Another activity we'll do is collecting used clothing from your closets that you don't need and giving them to people who do need them. And that's the kind of activity that fits right in with your daily life. For example, to get ready for this colder weather that we're having, you may have gone through your kids' closets. So that activity will be timed to go along with something that you're doing already in your daily life. And in this way, through what we do and say, we are signs of God's love in the world. And again, that's something that as you do with your kids, they will see the importance, and they will know that it's a good thing to do, not just because they see it in the book, but also because you as parents are sharing it with your kids. Something else you can do is to be involved with church liturgies. I know in this time of coronavirus, we're not always comfortable being right at Mass, although it is socially distanced, and we do take a lot of care, making sure that it's healthy and safe for families. Some people are just not comfortable, and that's okay. So you can watch the live streaming Mass on our website and on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And make that a part of your daily life. Like this family in the photo here has set up a special place to watch Mass together. Some families even get dressed up. My family preferred to sit down with a cup of coffee in our pajamas, but whatever makes you comfortable. And in a way, it's like having Mass in your very home. And it can be a very special part of family life. So as far as the year ahead, what we'll be doing, we're zooming right through our topics here. So please, if you have any questions, type them in the chat, and Nancy will share them with me, and we can speak to them after we're done here. But for this year, we'll be meeting on the first Tuesday of the month. This meeting's for adults only. And then the next two will be for including your children. They will be brief meetings because typically kids don't have a really long attention span. We'll be praying together. We'll be sharing copies or pictures or actual activities that you've done. For example, at the November 3rd meeting, we'll be sharing our prayer spaces with each other. So that can be through pictures or through drawings, and we'll have other activities that you can choose to share as well. You'll be getting a weekly email that will have a family prayer for you to do together in your prayer space, an activity to do together, which could be related to the textbook activities that you're working on, or it could be related to a parish ministry that's going on. For example, 1 week we'll be contributing to Fill Up the Van, and there'll be a prayer and activity around that. So your homework for that week will be to take a picture of your family participating in the activity. So if you have any questions about the program as the year goes along, please be in touch with me. My email's there on the screen. It's jean.mooney@sjcpenfield.com, or you can call the office and leave a message for me if I'm not in. Does anybody have questions? Let's see, I think I need to open up the questions. Here we go. So I see we had some questions about the timing of the meeting. Yes, this meeting is for home family and the 7 o'clock meeting is for first reconciliation.
So another question, Jean, is do we do a lesson each week, and will there be a syllabus so that they know that they're on track?
Yes, there will be a syllabus. Part of the beauty of the home family program is that you can fit it in when it fits your schedule. Some families like to get it done at the beginning of the month. Some like to space it out a little more. There'll be 2 or 3 lessons a month going through the year.
So will the syllabus be sent in an email?
Yes, it will be included in the weekly email so that you can look ahead and see what activities are coming up. For example, one of the activities is a scavenger hunt. So in preparation for that, you might want to find a few things ahead of time so that they're easier for your child to find. Oh, another question is if you haven't had a chance to pick up your textbooks yet, they are in the west transept of the church on a card table there with your name on the envelope. Some families have signed up pretty recently, so they didn't have a chance to pick up the books at any of the 3 dates that we had set. So if that's the case, they are on the card table in the west transept. And yes, the question is, yes, this is a first meeting for both groups. We decided to start a little bit later in the year to give you all a chance to get settled in school before we started the faith formation program.
So Jean, another question is, will the monthly meetings be for both the Stories of God's Love and the Disciples classes?
Yes, yes, the Stories of God's Love is the textbook for kindergarten. And the Be My Disciples is the textbook for grades 1 to 5. And the meeting will be for all grades together. The activities are things that you can do with children of all ages. So for example, the prayer space would be very simple for a younger child, whereas an older child might want to do it to something that speaks to them. So the activities are some things that you can do as a family together. And that's what we'll be sharing at the meetings.
If somebody hasn't been to Mass yet, Jean, how would they sign up? Or what's the process for coming to Mass during this time?
Thank you.
At either Holy Spirit or St. Joe's?
At either parish. On the webpage is a spot for you to see, to sign up for a Mass and to see how many people are already signed up. So if you prefer to come to a Mass that's less full, you can look for a space. Or if you'd like to see how many people coming to your regular Mass before you sign up, you can do that. And we do appreciate when you sign up every week. That's a good way for us to gauge that we're having adequate services for all the families. And also, if the time comes that we would need to contact you for any health-related reason, then we would have your information and know how to contact you. So I think you'll find that a lot of these activities come to be a very special time between parent and child. I know if you have more than one child, The book is designed so that you can do the lessons part together and then part separate. For example, you can do the prayer together, you can do some of the activities together, and then when it comes to the catechesis or the book learning, that's something that you might want to sit down separately with your children. You can really gauge it by your child. As a parent, you kind of know your child better than I would, but I'm happy to discuss it with you if anybody decides that they're having some issues doing too many groups, too many kids all in one big group.
So,
Another, yeah.
go ahead, Jean.
I was going to say that something that has worked for some families over the summer is to get together with other families that are have children in the same grade. Of course, in small socially distant groups, but it's fun for the kids to do the activities or even the textbook activities together. So if that's something that you're looking to do, it's a great idea and it makes it very fun for the kids.
Another question, Jean, is anybody in any of the grades who is in family faith wondering if they need to register? So I would assume that answer would be yes.
Yes, we would love to have you register so that we can get you the materials and keep you in touch with the group and let you know how everything's going. This is the first year that we're doing all family-based formation. Nancy started the sacramental preparation a few years back as a family group, and it's worked really well for families. So we added a family formation, and then this year is the first year that all of our formation is family-based. So if you were previously in the Wednesday night classroom program, that is now family-based, and it's done virtually due to COVID-19, but hopefully we'll be able to at some point gather in person rather than just via Zoom.
Another question, Jean, is can we share materials as a family? I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Well,
maybe
yeah,
you could clarify.
Yeah, if whoever has that question could clarify. The activities, the materials that you're picking up are basically a grade level textbook for your child. The kids that are in grades 1 through 5 have a family guide, which I'm going to show up here. I don't know. I'm going to stop screen sharing for now. Here we go. And you can see that I'm holding up a book. I don't know if you can see it with the green screen.
There it is.
Basically, the book is a recipe book for parents to go through as you lead your child in the lessons. If you haven't done that before, or even if you have, it's good to review by reading over the material ahead of time. And the book gives you a step-by-step guide on how to present the material. It is a recipe book, so you know your child better than anyone. If you know of a way that your child will be more engaged in the lesson, really feel free to try it. Or if you need some suggestions, you can reach out and I'll help you along with that.
So as far as the lessons go, if you have a child, for example, in 2nd grade and one in 5th grade, would the subject matter be the same?
Yes, this book series is designed to be done with children in several grades. So if you have a 1st grader and a 4th grader, the family guide will give you guidance on how to manage that. So
Okay.
the curriculum is the same topics for each grade as we move along. So if I look in the first book, the chapter 1 is Teach Me Your Ways. So in every grade level, you'll be doing something about that topic. Let me turn here. So it gives you the big idea for each chapter in each grade and how they relate together. So you can use that information when you're doing the lesson with your child.
That was perfect. That answered their question, Jean.
Oh, very good.
Could you briefly explain how the shared faith formation works between Holy Spirit and St. Joe's, what that looks like, in case there's a family that might be wondering about that?
Sure, sure. Over the past, I would say 6 or so years, there have been times when we've done faith formation together. I know that some Holy Spirit families participated in our summer program over the years, but we made it official. I think last year was the first year where we were all participating in the program together over at Holy Spirit in the parish hall. It was a wonderful experience where we had everybody gathered in one room, all the grades, and families were doing the material at home. So how that works is whether you're at Holy Spirit or at St. Joseph's, you register for the class and pick up your materials and do the work at home and the activities and the prayers. And then we'll gather virtually for now, once a month through the school year. Does that cover what you were asking about, Nancy? All right, good. Very, very
Yes.
good.
That was just in case anybody had needed some more information or wanted to know about that.
Yeah, it's worked out really well, I think, for families. I think it introduces everybody to a wider community. I know when at some of the meetings, Nancy, for sacrament prep, I remember one family looking around saying, "Wow, I did not realize so-and-so was Catholic," or, somebody else was Catholic. So it gives you a really good sense of community, that there are other people who are teaching their kids the same values and the same way of life as you are. It's not like the old days where the whole neighborhood was Catholic. We kind of have to seek out community in different ways now. Somebody asked if there's some kind of evaluation at the end for the kids. There is, I believe, in the textbook, a chapter assessment. There isn't an official test, that you take, but you can look online on the website at bemydisciples.com, and they will have a review that you can do with your child to make sure that they're grasping the material. Again, it's mainly based on your child. It's not meant to be a reading, writing, and arithmetic lesson, right? There are things that they need to learn, but if your child's hesitant about writing, for example, then you could have them use the same interventions that work at school. So for example, if they can't write well, you can have them talk to you about the presentation. Or if they're bad at spelling and they're worried about how they spell the things, tell them spelling doesn't count. This is about church and about life, not so much about reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we've also,
and like Jean said before, you can't really get behind. Go at your own pace. Try to, obviously, it's easiest if you keep up with that weekly email and the assigned chapters and everything. But if you do, for example, life gets too busy and you get a couple lessons behind, you can always catch up. That we don't want anybody to feel stress because we have enough stress. We want this to be a fun kind of a activity, family activity, and learning at the same time. So give yourself a break and make sure that we're not stressing the kids out to absolutely have to do this. But yes, of course, it's good if you can keep on a good schedule and keep up. I hope that was right, Jean.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is not meant to be a burden. It is meant to be helpful and helping you as parents to raise your kids in the Catholic faith. There's a number of things that will help their faith if they learn. Learning is an important part of faith formation, but there's also just the part where you live your daily life and you make good choices and you are kind to others. And all of those things are really best learned within a family context. Somebody had asked, they didn't sign their kindergartner up but they're going to be there. Absolutely, they are very, very welcome to participate. You don't need to officially, let me know, but certainly if you want them to be involved, let me know that they're there, and I'll make sure that at any time that some stuff is sent to the family that they'll be included. They'll be included in that mix. The kindergarten book is more of a activity-based than a strictly learning-based. It's got stories, it's got little paper dolls in there, so it's something fun to do with the kids, but it's not required. Kindergarten faith formation is not required by the diocese, and so they're very, very welcome to just sit in with the other activities you're doing with the kids. All right.
And I think another thing to remember, if for parents, especially grandparents, that you do not have to have a theology degree to teach your children the faith. Just know that we're here to support you, and just be a good example. Show them as you do every day, how to live a life of grace and how to pray. And I think you'll be doing great. So we're here for support, but hopefully there isn't anybody that feels like you're not qualified, because as a parent, you are highly qualified and even better qualified than we would be to do that. So just know that we're here to support you, and you can do this.
Nancy, I love that you mentioned grandparents, because grandparents have been such an important part of how we raise our kids in the faith. Not only are they full of wisdom and a lot more knowledge about the faith than a lot of us, because they were raised in a part where there were very specific things that you learned. And many grandparents are so helpful in doing lessons with the kids, or just talking to them. For example, in the family group, we had a grandma come and talk about how she prayed the rosary and how she prayed the rosary in her daily life. And that was really meaningful for the kids to see someone talk about their own personal experience with the rosary. So grandparents are good. We have some special activities to do with our elders during the year. So that's something fun to look forward to, is just some special time with an older relative, with your child. Well, we've got a few minutes here. If we want to take a brief break before the next meeting starts, and please be in touch if you have any questions about faith formation. I'll flash that information on the screen again for you while we're waiting for the 7 p.m. meeting to begin. Well, thanks everybody. And if you're not going to be with us for the next meeting, then I'll be in touch.